Hey guys, AwDaSea here. So today I just wanted to review some of the matches from the Crown Duel, kind of go over my thought process when the game is going on, and I guess why certain decks were chosen. So in the first match against Darth Jar Jar, everybody knows he uses a lot of Three Musketeers, so I ran a minor spell cycle deck. So the idea was if he runs, Elixir Pump and Three Musketeers, I have an answer for both. So with Poison and Fireball, and Minor getting some chip damage in. And then originally the deck had Mini P.E.K.K.A instead of the Elite Barbarians, but then after the update, Kyle, or as you know him as Lucifer, he suggested that I play Elite Barbarians because they're really strong now. I hadn't tested with them much since the update, so I wasn't sure. But he convinced me to use them, and that was a good move. So let's jump into the game here. So yeah, I thought he was going to play Three Musketeers. He didn't, which then I actually think was a good thing for me because he's such a good Three Musketeer player that if he's not playing like his best deck, is probably good for me. And I also felt like this minor spell cycle deck was good in most matchups. The one matchup that is kind of terrible in is Lava Hound, but I didn't expect anyone to bring a Lava Hound. So I was just kind of cycling through, put up my furnace, try to get some chip damage. He's playing Bowler Graveyard, so I used my Elite Barbarians to counter the Bowler. And in this scenario, the only thing I could do was use the Miner to actually counter the Graveyard. But Miner is actually a pretty good counter to Graveyard. He tanks the Skeletons, and he attacks really fast and kills them in one hit. So then that led to a little bit of a counter attack. I just threw the poison there, so in case he puts a building in the middle, it would hit the building, and any support troops you just have to put onto the side. So I got some chip damage in here, and he's ahead about one elixir, and I'm okay with that. So I put my furnace down again. It's just good to have it building up to distract units across the bridge, and also get some chip damage. Another thing is bait out spells and can kind of demand a response. So he kind of had to put his ice golem there to tank the fire screws because otherwise his tower is just going to get chipped down. So in this scenario, I actually used the ice golem to tank for my miner from the tower, and then just threw a poison down for some extra damage and kill weaken the mega minion. So I was just trying to put a little more pressure on to prevent him from doing a counterattack. Again, Elite Barbarians counter the bowler and across the bridge. Had to log a Skeletons. Got a lot of damage in there, more than I would have liked. I had maybe overcommitted to that minor push, but I'm still ahead in damage. So again, I just throw in the minor. I don't want to leak any elixir, so when the time comes, I'll just throw a minor, get some chip damage. Also demands a response. My fireball missed one of the Elite Barbarians. They're a little too fast, but that was okay because I got the log off anyway. So again, just minor, you poison, so it'll damage anything in the area. Got to throw a really good fireball there too. Takes down the tower. Unfortunately, though, I'm not able to defend this. I'm not sure. Maybe the furnace wasn't the best play there, but I just wanted to try and distract. The Elite Barbarians are just so fast and strong. They came in, and then I wasted a minor here. So that was 3 elixir that I could have had to use and punish the other tower. So now in this 1-1 sort of situation, and he's playing Graveyard, my furnace should actually be in the bottom right-hand corner, kind of where I place the Ice Golem. So that would tank some of the Skeletons. I'd do it later on, but I should have done it earlier. So we're in double time now. Elixir's just kind of racking up, so I just throw in poison, kill archers, get some damage in. Fireball the Barbarians, hit the tower too. So now he's got a huge push. This is really scary. My Barbarian just kind of got wrecked, but luckily I was able to barely defend that. Fireballs the archers too. So now in this scenario, like I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm probably just gonna lose. unless I do something drastic. So he's here now. Yeah, the furnace will help block the graveyard. Fire spirits, when they pop out, will kill the skeletons. So I tried to put some pressure on here. He ended up dropping, 6 elixir for elite barbs, 5 for the bowler. So in my last attempt at victory, I just threw my elite barbs, ice golem down the other lane, just going for the throat. If I didn't do that, there was like 0% chance of me winning. So this is the only move I could make. So I just had to take the risk. And I'm in Fireball Zap range, but put enough pressure on him that, yeah, he wasn't able to do it in time. That was a really close, insane game. I really enjoyed that game. Um, I feel like I should have had it before it hit overtime if I played a little safer. So he had that huge counter push that came and took my tower on the left hand side. And I think if I just played a little safer and just wait a little longer to get like a slower chip rather than committing so much, then maybe I could have just defended that tower and his tower wouldn't have been dead, but would have been low and killed that and won easier. But I thought that the clock was going to run out in time, but it was like 3 seconds left and he took the tower down. So it was a little bit of an overstep by me, but luckily I was able to come back. So now for the next game, it's me against Mango. So I brought a Royal Giant deck and just the standard bowler graveyard deck that I used in the online qualifier, the coordination days. I just felt these are decks I'm really comfortable with, and I hadn't really played like pretty much the previous week, and almost not at all since the update. Um, so fortunately, I have a lot of answers for Hog Rider, and Mango really likes Hog Rider. If I had faced someone else in the semifinals, probably would have been a different story. Luckily, I had decent matchups. So my goal here, I was just kind of cycling, trying to defend. Don't take damage from Hog Rider within the first couple minutes, and then when you're in double elixir, and then you get a push across the bridge, and then you can graveyard, and you're just elixir racks up so fast, that you can fireball anything to counter with. So here, again, I was just kind of cycling. So he puts a tombstone, I just throw a fireball, just take out the tombstone, get some tower damage, and cycle. And I'm just waiting for him to make a push, and then I can defend and counter push and take advantage of anything. So here, I actually dropped the bowler before the Hog Rider, because he had already committed so much elixir. He had a Mega Minion coming and dropped the Ice Golem that I knew that's where he's going to drop the Hog Rider. So I was actually able to just drop the bowler ahead of time and just crush the push. So here, yeah, see now I have a big counterattack, and I can use a graveyard and feel more safe about using that. Get some good chip damage in. Both my towers are still healthy. So I think I log here. Yeah, so log. I always like to just log archers, because then they cross the bridge. They don't even get a hit on your tower. Your tower just shoots them down and gets more chip damage. So here, like, this fireball is unnecessary, but again, I was just trying to cycle, like, pretty sure my hand was like, I don't know, bowler, inferno tower, graveyard fireball or something, and you don't really want to use the bowler like offensively. Ideally, they play Hog Rider, you play a bowler to defend it, or same with Inferno Tower. They're not really cards I like to cycle. They're also expensive. So again, just trying to defend the Hog Rider and get my chip damage in. So now his tower is at 500 health. I can just spell cycle and kill that in overtime. He's putting on a lot of pressure though. So the Hog cycle is really good at. He can just cycle back to his Hog Rider so fast that it can be hard to actually make a good push. And he's pushing the opposite lane, so don't get a counter push. So this move here, I just threw a Mega Minion, anything in the tank for my graveyard to try and get some damage in, and end up getting a little bit of damage, luckily. Ideally, you want like Ice Golem or Bowler, but I need Bowler to defend the Hog Rider, and I also like to use Ice Golem to tank like Mega Minions and stuff. And that was really close, so my elixir just barely hit 5, and I was able to drop the Inferno Tower. So here, like, I couldn't log the tower because logging is 104, it's at 106, so I just cycled back to the fireball. So that was a good game. That was sort of how the matchup was supposed to go. Bowler Graveyard is really strong against Hog Rider. He played pretty well though, and was trying to put on a lot of pressure on the opposite lane, which helped prevent any counterattacks. But luckily, I was able to just get enough damage in throughout the course of the game and defend his Hog Rider well enough. Now the next matchup is my Royal Giant against his Hog Cycle, which is pretty tough. I don't have very many answers for Hog Rider in this deck. I just kind of have the Furnace to distract and then like a Mega Minion. And I have like guards as well, but they don't kill the Hog Rider soon enough. He's going to get hits in, and they're more used as a graveyard counter. So here, I want to get a Furnace up as soon as I could, just to have up for when he uses Hog Rider. That Mega Minion could have been placed a little further back and not taken as much damage, but that's just a small thing. So you get a decent fireball there. The Furnace was already kind of low, so I can just kind of now cycle back to a Furnace, and then his fireball would be very he wouldn't be able to play another fireball. But I thought I'd just go for a push here, and it ended up working out. I got some pretty good damage in, but he's got a good counterattack coming now. Let's place the Furnace. That Ice Golem, kind of a waste too. It could have just been placed further back, so wait for the archers to cross the bridge. Another just tiny error. So when you get Hog Rider, you want to place the Furnace, place the 3 tiles up from the King Tower, and that way, even if he hogs on the right-hand lane, the Furnace will pull him. Also, when they do plays like this, they put the Ice Golem, you know who's going to probably play a Hog Rider behind it. We'll drop to the Royal Giant, trying to put on some pressure. Oh, here was really bad. My Mega Minion got distracted like crazy. And then, yeah, I had to use guards to kill the Hog Rider. And unfortunately, so it's much better if I can push the lane that he's pushing. So any troops I have, like, building up my push, will either, like, tank damage from his troops or damage, like, his Hog Rider. But unfortunately, so the way it worked was the lane I was pushing, he's pushing the opposite lane, which is good by him because that's kind of what you want to do as a Hog Rider player. So now, yeah, he's able to get tons of damage. So Ice Golem is super good at tanking for Hog Rider. That's really annoying. And my logs were pretty bad here. So he was placing his Ice Spirit well. He placed off to the side, so when I logged it, he killed Ice Spirit. A lot of people would just hog the Tombstone, but I wanted to get as much damage on the towers as possible, and honestly, those skeletons aren't a big deal, considering it's a Royal Giant. They have to travel anyway. I have both his towers down really low, but he's got one of mine low, and then yeah, I dropped a Royal Giant at the back, and he had a push coming, and this is kind of a downfall. What my thought process was is if I just build up a push at the back, then it would just tank, when he's got the Mega Minion coming in, or kill the Ice Golem fast or whatever, it would make him harder to push through. And so if I could just get one big good push in that lane and not have him break through, then I thought I could just win the game. But unfortunately, it just cycled too fast, and the Hog Rider broke through. But that's a tough matchup for the Royal Giant. So I was okay with that loss. I was like, that's fine. And then we'll just go to the next deck. So now game 3, the semifinals, me versus Mango. So here I was just cycling because again I figure he might just be playing Hog Rider. I didn't actually remember what his second deck was from his previous matches. So yeah, I just want to get that furnace down, so I cycled my archers and put a furnace down. So he put a Mega Minion at the back on the right-hand side. I used my Mega Minion to meet it. Middle. Use my Ice Golem Distract. So another little mistake. I had to, if I dropped it a little further back, then this Mega Minion here wouldn't have taken, or I guess it didn't take a hit there, but my Ice Golem maybe could have lived. Also, another mistake, those guards were supposed to split. Yeah, I was off one tile, and then if I had one guard going over here, it actually would have been much better, taking less damage from the miner, and maybe you wouldn't have had to drop the archers, but yeah, they're just small things, not a huge deal. So he's playing miner, so I actually don't have to put the furnace as far up as well. You can just put it 2 tiles. That way it won't shot as easily by archers. So I started building up a big Royal Giant push. I have to use the Ice Golem. Usually I want to put it in front of the Royal Giant, so I had to use guards instead. But it kind of got blocked a bit. And I had enough elixir to lightning because I was able to build up. And it hit one of the minions, so that was good. So that's why, like, you see a lot of people would just drop a Royal Giant at the bridge. I don't like to do that when you're running lightning because you need to build up the elixir in order to counter the Inferno Tower. Now I know he didn't like play an Inferno Tower earlier, but he's playing a miner deck. Pretty much every miner like control deck is going to have Inferno Tower because they need an answer to tanks. So now he knows I'm playing lightning too, and you'll see he adjusts his placement. So again, I just build up a big push, Royal Giant at the back, and see, like, he doesn't have that much he can do, and especially like I'm pushing my weak lane where he's already committed to chipping it down with the miner, and miner like is just so oriented on chip damage. It's very hard to just like switch lanes because then you're just giving up like 2 or 3 miner cycles. So I dropped another Royal Giant because I saw he was having trouble defending that first one. I probably should just put it back and just built up another push, but I kind of just wanted to like go for the throat there, hopefully get a win. So then he did have enough elixir to Inferno Tower, and it only got like 1 shot in. Now the counter was coming, and he felt the pressure, so he did the big move here, tried to throw in minions in a miner. When he did that play, I was like, okay, like he's that was like his last straw. Like that was a very it wasn't a very good play, and you could tell it's just like he's just going for something. Hopefully, he can make something happen, put on some pressure. But he couldn't. So then, yeah, I get rolled through the Royal Giant. I was able to just lightning the Inferno Tower. I couldn't hit his Princess Tower because of the range, the placement. So then now I just had to cycle to a spell. And I'll take this game. So the log comes through. The game. So that was a good matchup for Roller Giant as well. So those are all the matches I wanted to review. I know there's the final games, but I don't think they were very good games. Backstab had much more practice since after you could tell his decks were up to date. He had strong decks that I wasn't prepared for. I just brought decks I was comfortable with, and I just wanted to make it past the first round, and I made it to the final, so I was very happy about that. Also, in the first game, like I had the worst hand possible. Like I had nothing to cycle, nothing to really play. It was unfortunate, and then it led to me taking a bit of tower damage early on, and his decks were they were better than mine. So I don't really need to go into that. So that's all I wanted to talk about for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you.